This is the unluckiest man in the world. He was just taking a nap on the plane. When he landed, he found that his country had been bombed out of existence. Not only had his visa and currency become invalid, but even his flight home had been forcibly cancelled. However, unable to speak the language, he still had no idea what had happened. The airport manager had no choice but to crudely demonstrate it to him with potato chips.
The Big Apple represents the Liberty Rebels. No more Krakosia.
Victor was detained at the airport. He had absolute freedom, yet he was absolutely not free. He was free because no one at the airport could manage him. He was not free because he had no right to leave the airport or return home. The manager thought Victor would secretly sneak out of the airport, only to be taken away by security. But unexpectedly, Victor followed the manager's advice and chose to stay in the airport, waiting for his country to be rebuilt. He pieced together old chairs into a makeshift bed, then unplugged the power, intending to get through the night. But as soon as he lay down, he mistook the airplane's lights for the armed forces coming to capture him. Fortunately, it was just a false alarm, but the next day, he was completely targeted by the airport manager, as he was highly likely to cause the manager big trouble. If the airport remained problem-free before the higher-ups retired, the manager could smoothly take over. But just as he finished speaking, he spotted someone wandering around the airport in a bathrobe on the surveillance monitors. This was undeniably damaging to the airport's image. The manager was exasperated. He couldn't understand why Victor didn't just try to sneak away. In order to secure his promotion and raise, the manager decided he had to get rid of this hot potato. He stared intently at Victor through the glass, then ordered his staff to get tough with him. So while Victor was enjoying some free airport snacks, the manager approached him directly. Pretending to be helpful, he revealed a piece of information to Victor. He mentioned that during the guard shift change at noon, there would be a 5-minute gap. He subtly hinted that Victor could use that moment to slip away. Victor thought he had stumbled upon a golden opportunity, but in reality, it was just the manager's trap. Outside the airport, a complete net of surveillance and security had been laid to catch Victor. If he so much as stepped 1 foot outside, the manager had the authority to arrest him immediately as an illegal trespasser. Victor looked at America, so close yet so far. A flood of mixed emotions surged within him. He slowly walked toward the doors, but noticed something off. The surveillance camera seemed to be locked onto him, scanning his every move. To test his theory, Victor deliberately moved forward and backward, pretending to tie his shoe. Sure enough, the camera followed his every motion. When the manager was exposed, he sheepishly ordered his staff to move the camera away. But by then, Victor had already taken cover directly below the lens. When they couldn't locate him anywhere, the manager flew into a fit of rage. And just as he was swamped with chaos, Victor's big face suddenly appeared on the screen. For security monitors split at once, clearly capturing Victor's counterattack. The entire security room burst into laughter. Since his plan had been exposed, the manager could only cover his awkwardness with a helpless gesture. Seeing that trickery wouldn't work, the manager decided to take a more straightforward approach. He prepared a lunch for Victor, then told him there was still one way he could return home. All Victor had to do was claim he feared the chaos in his homeland, and with help from US law, the manager could apply for political asylum on Victor's behalf using exceptional measures. Victor, thrilled, agreed. But when the manager started the questioning, Victor didn't give the answer he was hoping for.
Do you, at this time, have any fear of returning to your own country?
No.
The manager thought perhaps he hadn't explained things clearly, so he stressed even more how terrible Victor's homeland had become. Armed soldiers filled the streets, and violence and looting were everywhere. Then he asked Victor again, but this time, Victor